Hello. Jennifer and I have had the Tesla Model 3 LFP batteries for a year now. We've driven 8,000 miles, so this is our review. And I'll tell you if we would buy it again, and also our overall rating, all the ups and downs of owning a Tesla, and some general tips owning an EV of any brand. The collection day was exciting. That was a year ago. 120 miles driving home. Autopilot is included, but you have to activate it on the touchscreen menu, something we realized on the motorway driving home. I had watched hundreds of hours of YouTube tutorials with owners' experiences, but I'd never sat in a Tesla before collecting mine, and it was by a long way the most expensive car that I'd ever purchased. I've been driving cars, trucks, buses, airport heavy loading equipment for over 50 years, but for some reason driving the new Tesla out of Bristol in my Model 3, I felt like a driver had only just passed the driving test. I realised then that there was so much I didn't know about the Tesla Model 3. Some of the tutorials are out of date because of regular software updates, changing the touchscreen, for example. Carpets were included, and I was told they were not, and it did include a memory stick, which was nice. I found it in the glove box, and many things that I wasn't expecting, all good and positive. We headed off to Scotland a month later in our 2,000-mile road trip, and we learned a lot more about the EV, but also Tesla superchargers and free destination chargers and some free Charge Place Scotland public chargers available at the time. What I have learned is charge at home as much as you can, as it's so much cheaper. And on a road trip, do your research before you leave. And it's always good to have a backup just in case. I've got Tesla superchargers, but I did look at some of the other national charging public chargers. I've run out of petrol in the past, but I never intend to run out of electricity. Having a Tesla meant I had to use the brilliant Tesla superchargers who know who you are. So there's no card to show, you just drive up and plug it in. Nothing could be that simple. The first time I did it was very exciting, but I learnt it's best to have a backup just in case. For part of our Scottish trip, we went on the East Coast in the area of Ayr. Doesn't have many Tesla superchargers, but before going I ordered a Charge Place Scotland card because I could see on the ZapMap app that it was the most popular public charging in Scotland, and it's free, and I'm very glad that I did. Some of them are free or very reasonable prices. They're not always the fastest, but destination chargers don't have to be fast, unlike motorway service chargers that do need to be quick. The thing is, if you're planning on buying an EV other than the Tesla, I would suggest using GridServe, who have a good network of chargers throughout the UK. They often seem to be next to the Tesla superchargers in good location, and it's good to have a backup or two just in case. Welcome to all viewers, and of course Americans, Canadians, Australians, Kiwis, Irish, Scots, Welsh, English, Scandinavians, European, and everyone else on the planet Earth, and hope you can subscribe and like, and please leave a comment below. What I've learned having gone on road trips, that B&Bs often have free destination chargers, and some places don't even advertise this facility. So if my car was parked close to the apartment, I asked if I could top up charge, and they always said yes on 3 occasions. Another bonus of owning an EV. The overall cost of Scotland road trip was much less than petrol or gas, and much better, and a fraction of the cost than the cruise that we had planned. The money of the cruise that we didn't go on went towards the Tesla, helped us afford it. The Wales road trip was not quite so far to travel from Cornwall, but great fun, and again free destination charges in all 3 places we stayed in. None of them were advertised, but everyone said yes, and the car was conveniently parked close to the apartment, so that was good. I always said, can I top up, never fill up. Much of our trip to Wales was free electricity, which is good. It doesn't actually cost the owner much money because it's a very slow charge, and you're paying, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 pounds. It's probably not costing them much more than a fiver, and they give you bread and cakes and milk and all kinds of things, so I don't feel sorry for them. The roads can make a great difference to real world mileage. Motorways at 70 mile an hour or higher are not good, but slower stop starting 30, 40, 50 is fine, and you can get some good real world range once the batteries are warm. We also had a really good road trip to the Isle of Wight, and then we went to Scotland again, and this time went up to the Orkneys, which is EV heaven and charging. Real world mileage there was fantastic, beautiful scenery and extremely friendly people. I thoroughly recommend you go to Orkney Isles. I don't use the car every day if I don't need to, so most of the 8,000 miles was on road trips. Charging the LFP battery to 100% is great, and that is recommended by Tesla at least once a week, much better than just 80-90% on older models. In total, I charged at home 3,300 miles, and that only cost £38. That's quite ridiculous, because it was only 5p a kilowatt hour in the early hours of the morning. Quite amazing. It'll be a bit more this year, but it's still a fraction of the price of gas and petrol. I charged at Tesla superchargers for 3,500 miles in total, and that cost me £372. And I also charged at some public charging and free destination chargers. So the total charging for this year's 8,000 miles was £445. That's under 6p a mile. Compared to my previous diesel Audi, the same miles would have cost me £1,312. So I saved £867. All electrical charging average 1/3 the price of gas, diesel or petrol, and that includes the dearer Tesla supercharger. So if you did charge more at home than I did, you can save even more, even with prices going up this year. If I had charged all my miles at home, it would have only cost £90 for 8,000 miles, and that's an amazing 93% less than gas, petrol or diesel. I've had no servicing costs or tyres. I do pay £10 a month for the premium connectivity. That's £120 a year, and it can be cancelled at any time. Software updates, my Wi-Fi can't reach where my car is parked in my garage, so I do have to pay an extra £180 a year for phone data hotspot. Something I wasn't expecting and has been my biggest cost other than electricity. And it has been recommended by good people who watch this that I should get a booster fitted to my Wi-Fi, and I will definitely look into that and try to save some of that £180 this year. So total cost this year was just £300 compared to, and I look back, £750 on average for my Audi, and everyone knows bills can be a lot higher than that for a year. So it was 60% less, and of course there's no road tax. I've saved this year over £1,300. The car has also increased a little this year, and I've done 8,000 miles on the clock, and the same Tesla Model 3 now costs £7,500 more than it did last year. It's now £49,590. But the results of my year with the Tesla are, I just couldn't go back to petrol, diesel or gas. I love driving it so much, and we will be driving to Portugal in a few months' time. The car makes me smile. I think it's a fantastic looking car and design. The only other car I've ever had that made me smile was an MGTF. It was 10 years old, one of the last ever built in this country, and it always made me smile. But I think this one makes me smile that much more, because I think the design is very, very good, and not everyone likes it, but I certainly do. I couldn't go back, as I said, to a petrol, gas or diesel car, but if I did have to sell for financial reasons, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I won't, I would go for another EV, maybe a Hyundai or an MG. They're making some great cars, but hopefully that's not going to happen. So what are the Tesla negatives? Well, about the only negative I can think of is if you say anything bad about Tesla on YouTube, you get lots of comments from angry Tesla fans. And I consider myself a Tesla fan, even if I'm older than all of them. Also, negative videos about Tesla get a lot more views than positive videos, and I found that out on my channel. I did videos about the things I didn't like about Tesla and got lots of angry comments, and did a video of the things I did like about Tesla, and it only got about a third of the views. So what are the other negatives? Well, I think the high price is probably one of the biggest negatives, and the very long waiting lists. But none of these affected me, as I had my Tesla a year ago when the price was a lot less and the waiting list was only 2 months. It's probably being a bit picky, but the boot trunk would be better if it was a hatch. But of course, hatches are much more popular in Europe than they are in the US, so I quite understand that. It is hard to find a negative with my Tesla Model 3 with an LFP battery. I do wish they would build a smaller version of the Model 3, a more affordable car, but I doubt if they will happen soon, and they're making too much money making much more expensive cars. So in the meantime, I'm looking forward to another year with Jennifer, my wife, and the Tesla Model 3. She doesn't always want to come on these videos, but she definitely will when we next do a road trip soon, hopefully. She says it has all the fun bells and whistles. It's a fun toy for adults, and it makes you want to get on the road and travel and enjoy the road. And to that end, we're going to Portugal in a few months' time, and very much looking forward to that. Anyway, what do you think? I hope you can like if you did, and please subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time, and hope you never forget to take your reusable mug with you. Thanks very much. Bye.